One of the things that I have noted appears to be a considerable drift in the Supreme Court away from the jury system, with rules changes that make it easier to get cases dismissed before they come to a potential jury, with jury damages awards knocked back, with entire issues, particularly in the corruption space, removed from a jury's determination to simple, bright line rules. And we've heard in this committee very often in various districts how rare it is for there still to be jury trials. Indeed, there are a few district judges that write about how you bring the jury back. In that context, I want to ask each of you where you fall on the spectrum or between the 2 points of seeing a jury as a mere fact-finding appendage to the court versus seeing it as a significant and important element in the American system of self-governance. And if you don't mind, I'll just go right across the table, starting with you, Ms. Alexakis.
Thank you, Senator. I certainly fall on the end of the spectrum that recognizes that a jury trial, the right to a jury trial, is a fundamental right. It's enshrined for criminal defendants in the Sixth Amendment. In civil cases, it's enshrined in the Seventh Amendment. In my nearly 20 years of practice, I have tried civil cases and criminal cases in front of a jury, and that experience has left me with a firm conviction about the importance of juries in the judicial process. It increases transparency, and it enhances a particularly important participatory element of our democracy.
Ms. Lanham?
Senator, I too fall on that same end of the spectrum and see juries as a bedrock of our system. I have had the honor of representing the United States in criminal jury trials and in defending civil jury verdicts on appeal. My experience in those cases has been that the juries are the voice of common sense and community standards in a process where sometimes there isn't a tremendous amount of common sense. And so if confirmed, I would be doing everything that I could when appropriate, to allow the parties to have jury trials.
Magistrate Martinez?
Thank you. I agree with the comments of my fellow nominees, and I'll share that I too have had the opportunity to try a number of criminal jury trials as well as a civil jury trial, and it is essential to the litigants' sense of being heard and of fairness to have a jury of their peers determine their case.
Ms. Suknanan?
Senator, I share my fellow nominees' views. The right to a civil jury trial is protected in the Constitution for a reason. I think it is incredibly important, and it brings the voices of the people to our judicial system. And I, too, if confirmed, would take all steps as appropriate to ensure that it is something that gets carried out.
I just close by offering an observation that you may wish to take away with you or not, but that is that, particularly from my perspective here in Congress, you see big powers and interests marching around the Capitol like they own the place, surrounded with phalanxes of lawyers, able to deliver false political spin as much as they please, and never held to account. Depending on the administration, they can walk into the offices of the executive branch and be treated with similar reverence, and again, not be held accountable for what they're saying and be surrounded in retinues of lobbyists and lawyers. And all of that changes when they get in front of a jury. The stuff that they do to try to influence the executive branch to get their way, the stuff that they do in the Capitol to try to influence Congress to get their way would be illegal in front of a jury. It's the one place where power and influence matter less than anywhere else in government. And I would just commend that to you at a time when power and influence are at grotesque levels in the other two branches of government, particularly through the gouts of dark money that are spent through creatures like super PACs that didn't used to even exist, that there's something very precious about the hard square corners of the jury box. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator Whitehouse. Senator Welch.
Thank you very much. Just two things. Number one, I do share some of Senator Hawley's concerns. There's always an issue for us as lawyers